Hey guys, this is your best friend in programming, CoderJeet, and in this video I'm going to show you how to auto-update Electron apps. Now when you release an app to the market, it's very important to follow through and give your customers updates and new features and fixes in the app as soon as they are made. You can deliver them very easily with Electron. The app can download the latest version itself, notify the customer, and when they approve, install the new version. And that's exactly what I'm going to show you how to do in this video. Don't forget to hit that like button and click on subscribe to get more videos from me. And now let's get started. We are going to use two npm packages to create the automatic updation system. The first is the Electron Builder, which is a popular package that can create the distribution setup for your app. So you can use it to create the setup that can be installed on the client's machine. And the second package called Electron Updater is actually a package that will utilize the Electron Builder features to add auto updation capabilities and make things simpler. Electron Builder is quite a popular package and you can install it directly from npm using this command. And to get more information on it, you can visit the repository. There is a lot of information on the repository, or you can go to the dedicated website for this project called electron.build, if I'm not wrong. Yep, electron.build, and you can read all the configuration options. You can learn how to code it properly. And the second package that we're going to use is Electron Updater, and this is also an npm. It's quite a popular package and you can install it too. So let's start by installing both these packages. I've set up a sample project to show you the entire update system, and you can find this project in the description of this video. Go to the description section. There is a link to the GitHub repository, so you can play with this project yourself and you can see all the options. Now the first thing you need to do is set up the package.json correctly, and you will need to specify a name for your app and version, because Electron Builder is going to take configuration from package.json itself. So name, version, description, these are all important information to set. You can also set author name, because that's going to show up in the uninstaller on the computer too. So this configuration is important. And then we need to install the npm packages. So let's go for npm I Electron Builder. You can see that it's showing up in the dependencies. Now let's also install Electron Updater. Alright, that's done too, and now Electron Updater is also showing up. Let's try to run this app and see what exactly it does. Npm run start. That's our run command. And here is the app. It's just a single HTML page. This is my auto updated app. There is a message and just some random text. Now I do set up my application in a specific manner the way I like. So there's going to be a main.js file, and I like object oriented programming. So all my views are in classes of their own. In my opinion, this makes the entire coding very easy, because Electron needs a preload file and a main file and a view file. So 3 files just to show the one screen that you're going to display. So I like to categorize it in this manner, and you can look at my sample and understand how that works. It might help you make your project too structured better. The next thing you want to do is set up the build section of your package.json file. Let's do that. Here we go. And there's going to be a new build section over here. And the important options to set up in here is first the app ID, and it has to be unique for your app. So usually you would want to have .com, your domain name or whatever you have, that is a unique identifier, and then a short code for the app itself. For example, ours is auto updater. And then you need a detailed product name, a longer product name, so you can call it auto updater app. And then you need to specify the platforms for which you want to build. Now right now I'm on Windows, so I'm going to build this only for Windows, and the target that you want to set for Windows is NSIS. NSIS is a sort of installer that Electron Builder can build to. It's a single click installer, very simple to use. And finally, you want to select the folder where you will be outputting the build file. So this is the build configuration inside of package.json that Electron build needs. And we can just compile it again. I think I missed a bracket, a curly brace. Let's just put it back. There we go. This should do it. Yes, it works. So let's just try to run it again. Still running, no errors. Now that we've installed Electron Builder and Electron Updater and set them up, the next step is to set up the GitHub repo. Now you need to have a GitHub repository for your project. I'm sure you actually might have one already, and you will release the updates to your customers using the releases feature of GitHub. Now there are other ways to release your app. You can use S3, you can use auto-updater's dedicated server, but in my experience, the GitHub release system is pretty much the easiest, very easy to implement, and it's quite secure. You gotta have a repository for yourself. The releases are public. You don't need to share any passwords. You don't need to put in any secrets. So this is actually the pretty much the easiest method. What you can do is, if you don't want to put the releases on the same repository where you got the code, you can create a new repository that's public and put in the releases there. So that's what I do, and I'm going to show you that next. So here is my dedicated Electron Updater repository. It's public, and if you go in there, you can see the code is right now empty because I haven't put up the code yet, but there is a release. There is a release of version 1.0.3, and if you go in there, you can see there are even files over here. So let's talk about how to set up the repository correctly by setting up a new release. So when you want to set up a new release, what you need to do is go into the release section by clicking on releases and then click on draft a new release. Now remember this, when you release an app, you need to specify the version number. That's how the updater will find out whether the version that's online, the latest release that's online, is newer than your own software or not. Now the software that we are going to ship is going to check the version from package.json, which will be a part of the project that you're shipping. The version number will be a part of the distribution too, and when the auto updater runs, it's gonna check this version by the latest release version, and if the version is lower on your computer, it's going to draw the release to your computer, download the release to the computer and install it. Now what we need to do is we need to give it a release title. So last time the title and the tag that we're using was 1.0.3. So let's use 1.0.4. That's the release title, and you will also need to choose a release tag, and the release tag should be the version number, again without any kind of string, any kind of like v version or v string text, without any kind of text before it. So you can do this. You just have to have the pure version number. So put in the version number in choose a tag, then click on create new tag because the tag is still not created. Now you have selected it, you have created it and you've selected it, chosen it, you've even given the same version number in release title. You can put in some release notes like this is my new update, whatever you want, and then just click on publish release. We can always upload the binaries later, that's perfectly fine. And here we've got a new release over here, and whatever files we upload to this release will be our new version, our new release of the software, and we will get there. For now, our GitHub configuration is complete. The next step is to implement the auto updation code inside of our application, and we will need to implement it in the main process, which is main.js in this application. This is our main process, and the first thing you need to do is bring the auto updater in. And to do that, you can just require the Electron Updater package and bring in the classes Auto Updater and App Updater. Auto Updater is something that enables us to call the updation code, and we can also trap events on it. So the first two options that you want to set up on Auto Updater are the basic flags. So you can set up these flags right at the top of your code. The first flag is autoupdater.auto-download equals to false. So even if there is a new package, there is a new update, I'm instructing the software not to automatically download it. So it will download the application only when you expressly ask the application to download the package. And the second one is auto install on app quit. So if you turn it to true, whenever the application is closed, it's automatically gonna install the new version in a silent manner. So I like to turn on these options. You can turn them on too. And then we gotta create a system to notify our users that there is an update and they should install it. So in this particular app, what I've done is I have created just a single text message. Let me run it. Here we are. So we've got a status message that we will update when there is an update. So let's try to do that. The next stage is to detect the update and show a prompt if there is an update. We want to check for updates every time the application is run. To do that, we will utilize the app.whenReady event. This is fired when the application is first run and it's ready to show the display, to show the interface. We're just gonna put a line over here, autoupdater.check for updates, and this is the only thing that's needed to check for the update on your GitHub repository. We did configure the GitHub repository on GitHub. What we need to do in addition to that, which I didn't do yet, is put the link to the GitHub repository inside the package.json itself. So we're gonna add a repository section. This is the link to the repository that we created on GitHub. You can see the link is the same. It's the same repository. You just need to have the URL of the repository over here, and then you also need to add a publish section, and it should have only two fields: provider, which is going to be GitHub, and release type, which should be set to release. So now Electron Updater can detect where you are publishing your updates and can download the latest update from the repository that you've created. Now the next step is to start notifying our users, our customers, when there is an activity, like when there is an update or there is no update. And to do that, we need to set up a little bit of inter-process communications between the main process, this is the main process, and the view, the renderer process. And I do have a tutorial on inter-process communications, actually a couple of them. And if you don't understand inter-process communications yet, you should check them out. They'll be very helpful. But for now, what we want to do is inside our main process. Now I've got main process split in two files, the main.js file, which is the starting point of the app. And then for every single screen that I have a separate file that is the main process for that particular screen. So I've got a browser window over here. It's a complete class called main screen, and I'm going to create a function called show message over here, which will send a message to window web contents. This is the message, window web contents, and it is going to fire an event called update message, and in that update message it's going to send a particular message, any message that you want. So we're gonna send this to the front end, and we gotta set up a system where this message will be displayed on the front end. So let's do that. The next step is preload. We need to have matching event trapping in preload too. So we're gonna set up a context bridge. This is our context bridge. This is our callback method, because this message is being displayed directly on the view. So we're gonna use a callback, and this callback method will be further trapped in the view. So the third step is to put this message trap in the view, the event trap in the view. And to do that, what we need to do is first we need to bring in the callback. We've got the callback over here, and then we got to do something in the callback. So what we're doing is we are getting the element message. If you remember, in main.html we've got a div with the ID message. We are getting it and showing the message inside the div. So this should all now be hooked up. Let's save it all. And now in main.js we're gonna add another line which will specify that we are checking for updates. So curve window.show message, checking for updates, and if we have hooked it up all correctly, when we run it, we should see the message checking for updates. Alright, so the app has loaded and we can see now that the message does say checking for updates. Now let's code the rest of it and trap the various events that we have available inside of Electron Builder. Here are the various events that we have available in the auto updater. Auto updater package.on update available. This will be fired if on checking the repository there is the new release and there is the new update. So we're going to show the message update available if there's a new update, and then next we have update not available. So if there is no update, it's going to show no update available. And again there is an event called update downloaded, and this is fired if the update is downloaded. So you can see here in update available we are checking, and if update is available we are downloading the update manually. We're using the autoupdater.download update to update it, and then we will show in the update downloaded event that an update has been downloaded. So the next step, we need to configure our repository to actually have the files for the update, and we need to prepare the files for the update too. So let's see how we do that. Coming back to package.json, we've got a couple of scripts over here. The first is start, that's the one we use to run the app, npm run start. And the second script that is a part of Electron Builder is dist. So when you run it, it just runs the Electron Builder and compiles the app. So we'll run npm run dist now, and it's gonna build the app, compile it, and make a setup which will show up in the dist folder. So we've got a problem over here because Electron Builder is only allowed in dev dependencies, and we put it in the dependencies which is not allowed. So we're just gonna uninstall it. Npm uninstall Electron Builder. Here we go. And then we gotta install it again, but this time with the flag save dev, because it has to be installed in the development dependencies. So it's being installed now. Alright, so it's installed again, and you can see this time it's in the dev dependencies section. So our earlier dist command should work now. Npm run dist. Here we go. Alright, so the build process is done. You can see in our dist folder there are a number of files, and we can open it in Windows Explorer, in File Explorer. Here we are. You can see all of the files over here. In the dist folder they are there, and there is a setup file, so you can run this setup file to install the app on your computer. Let's do that now. Okay, it's being installed and it's already running from the installation. This is from the installed version. Fantastic. Now let us proceed to the next step, which is putting these files on our GitHub repository, but for the version 1.0.4. Remember, this is version 1 and we need to have the updated version online. So what we got to do is go back into the application code, then find package.json, and this time change the version to 1.0.4, and then use the dist command again. Of course we should delete everything first. Alright, so that's done, and we've got all new files in our repository, and we gotta put them in the release. So we're gonna go to the release area, click on the modify button, the edit button, and then we're gonna upload the binaries by dropping them over here. But one word of caution, your release files cannot have the space symbol. When you upload these files, the space symbol is gonna be changed over by a dot, but Electron Updater is going to look for dashes. It's not gonna look for dot, it's not gonna look for period. So you can't have spaces in your app name, and if you got spaces, what you gotta do is just replace it with a little dash. That's what I'm doing now. All the files. Alright, so these were the only two files which had spaces. Now we can drag them over only the files, not the folder been unpacked. You don't need the unpacked folder, and it's uploading all these files to the release. Alright, all the files are uploaded. You can see they're online and your release is final. So just click on update release and it should be showing up. The assets should all be showing up over here. Now when we run the auto updater, let's see what happens. It's checking for updates, and that didn't work because our updater version 1 didn't have the latest version of the code. So we need to go to control panel and uninstall the auto updater that was installed by our installer earlier. We did it while we were testing. Uninstall it. That's done. And now we're gonna go to our version number again, make it 1.00 again, and then put in npm run dist because we need a new copy of the installer. Here we have a new copy of the version 1 again, this time with all this code from the main screen, all the events coded and saved and compiled. So when we run it, when we run the installer, version 1 will be installed, and then when we run the app, it will say update available, and it's downloading the update right now. When it's completely downloaded, the update is downloaded, and when we close the app, the update is automatically installed in a silent manner. Nothing is shown on the screen. But when you run the auto updater again, this time, because there is no further update, it's just gonna check for updates, and it's not gonna show you that an update is available. So a new version was installed. What we could have done is we could have shown the current version that we are using right now. Let's try to do that. So what I've done is, in all the places I've just added app.getVersion, which will get the version of the current app from package.json, and I've got it again to version 1.0. If you run it now, you will see that it says checking for updates and the current version is 1. So if I run the app now, auto updater, you can see that it says update available, and then it says cannot download because when I put up the latest update, I forgot to replace the spaces with the dashes. Let's do that. So I've uploaded the latest file. You can see the older file over here have periods because GitHub replaced the spaces with the periods. Just gonna delete the older files. The newer files are here. Click on update release and the release should be published. So now when I run app updater, it should actually update itself. Let's close it and try again. Auto updater. Here we go. Update available, current version 1. It's downloading it right now. An update downloaded, current version 1. And when I close it, the app is getting installed and it's done in an invisible manner. So when I run the app again, and you can say no update available, current version 1.0.4, which is also the version online. So we had a couple of bumps down the road, and that's what always happens when you are coding anything. So don't be afraid of the bumps, work around them, look at your code, and you will find the issues. If you're a beginner programmer, I'm sure you must be battling this pretty frequently, things not happening as they should, and you have to hunt around a lot to find the issues. Well, this is programmer's life. When I began the first time about 25 years ago, this is what happened to me. All the time I had to struggle for hours sometimes just to find a small little issue. With time it's become much easier, and it will become easier for you. So don't give up, keep going. I'm here in this journey with you, your friend CoderJeet, and see you in the next video. If this video was useful for you, if you liked it, don't forget to hit that like button and then subscribe to me because you want to get the latest videos from me in the future too. I will be producing more content on programming topics, so subscribe and I will see you again next time.